will fail to show up. I guarantee it.
You don't even know them.
You mustn't say I don't know them. I know them quite well.
Miss Islesborough said you were all going to be strangers to one another.
In one sense, that is correct. In another sense, that is erroneous. I do wish you wouldn't sniffle. It's distracting.
No, ma'am.
And at dinner, please don't wipe your nose on your apron.
Yes, ma'am.
And what's the matter with your uniform?
How do you mean, Miss Maple?
Why, it looks large enough to fit half a dozen people. Can't you take it in?
Wouldn't do no use, no matter what I put on, looks like a potato sack.
Well, perhaps if you don't sniffle, no one will notice the uniform.
Yes, ma'am.
Where's Rita?
I'm right here, Miss Maple.
Oh, you frighten me. You do have a habit of creeping up on one.
Like poison ivy.
Havisham, you're forgetting yourself.
Sorry, ma'am.
Rita, do you know where the list is? I seem to have misplaced it.
On the desk, Miss Maple.
The most logical place. No wonder I didn't think of it. Havisham, you're sure you'll be able to tend to the kitchens?
I won't have any trouble. Not when the cook and helper come in from San Francisco.
The agency said we should expect them later this evening. It was the best they could do.
We'll manage. The list, Rita.
Beg pardon, Miss Maple. I'm not sure I understood.
Understood what?
You said you guys were going to be strangers to one another, yet they weren't.
I mean, I know them by their writings.
I don't expect Haversham reads a great deal.
Surely you've read a mystery novel or two.
I can't say that I have. I like gothic romances and stories about nurses in love with doctors. Once in a while I enjoy a horror comic. The cover's gory enough.
Please, ladies, please. I insist on decorum at all times.
Of course.
Whatever you say, ma'am.
Each guest is a famous mystery writer. He or she is not coming as his or herself, as the case may be. He or she is coming as his or her creation.
Creation?
Each guest will spend the weekend as his or her alter ego.
I don't think she understands.
I'm trying to.
Each guest will be the detective hero or heroine in their books. They will not use their real names or personalities. They're coming from all over the country. Jolly fun.
Yes, Miss Maple.
I do suspect they know of my little project. Few mystery writers don't, despite all the secrecy.
Little project?
It's no concern of yours.
Yes, ma'am.
Just be sure that the biscuits are warm in the sherry room temperature.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
We have Louis Fan, the famous Oriental detective. Father White, he uses the psychological approach. Peter Flimsy, he's very much in the Sherlock Holmes school.
He's a student?
Haversham, you're quite hopeless.
I expect that I am.
Now go down to the beach and guide them up.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Do you really think that Haversham is suited for this kind of work?
I promised the parole people would give her a chance. We must be patient with her.
Parole people? You mean she's an ex-convict?
I mean, she's still a convict.
Still a convict?
Rita, stop repeating everything I say. You're starting to sound like a minor bird. The truth is simple enough. She's on a work program.
Work program? Sorry.
She works out well. Her sentence is reduced and she's put on permanent parole. Much will depend on my report.
What was her, crime?
I don't recall exactly. Some unpleasantness with a hatchet, I believe.
A hatchet?
Rita, compose yourself. There'll be quite enough melodrama when my guests arrive. Chandler Marlowe. Now there's a man to reckon with. Seedy, down and out, but intelligent in a brutish sort of way. A true male chauvinist.
I wish I had known about Havisham before I took this job. She doesn't like me, you know.
Enric and Laura Carlyle. What a witty couple. So sophisticated, so urbane. I'll enjoy their company.
Unpleasantness with a hatchet can mean almost anything. What if the storm was as bad as the one last week? We were cut off for 2 days.
We're well stocked with food I had second thoughts about inviting Charity Hayes. Too much like James Bond for my taste. Still, she's a superb bridge player. All in all, delightful menage.
Come along, she's ready. Like you got across before the store.
Howdy, ma'am. I brought them all over, just like you said. I gotta tell you, though, one a strange bunch.
Oh.
I gotta tell you. Oh, sorry. I meant, well, I bet you'll have a hell of a meeting. A heck of a time, ma'am. Well, better be going. I gotta catch the boat.
How's the weather? What's going to happen?
Well, maybe stormy.
Oh,
Well, I don't want to get caught in the storm.
thank you. All in all, delightful menage. Oh, they've arrived. Excellent. Come, come.
Ah, you must be Miss Maple. Delighted to meet you.
I'm not Miss Maple.
I'm Miss Maple.
I know you anywhere. Delighted to meet you.
You must be Father White.
How did you guess?
Hardly a guess. Your clerical caller.
First rule of psychological detection, disregard the obvious and concentrate on the possible. I might be Louis Fan in disguise.
Touche. You're a master. My social secretary and companion, Miss Islesborough.
How do you do, my dear?
Welcome to Turkey Island.
To the best of knowledge, only one other island in history has been named Turkey. A battle was fought there in the Aegean Sea. 4th century BC, Spartans versus the Maltese.
I don't think there's any connection. This island used to be a turkey farm.
Please be seated. Sherry warm biscuit shortly. I wonder who this could be.
Take a look at this thin nose, sister. These gray eyes, this jawstone. It ain't Charity Hayes.
No, it ain't. Excuse me, Mr. Marlowe. Your dialogue's infectious.
I know.
My social secretary and companion, Miss Islesborough.
How do, sister?
Welcome to Turkey Island.
Please be seated. Sherry and warm biscuit shortly.
Sherry and warm biscuits.
Unmistakably, Mr. Fan.
First rule of Furry's detection. Disregard the obvious. I could be Laura Carlyle in drag.
My social secretary.
No need. I overheard undoubtedly. Welcome to Turkey Island. Most unusual portrait.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. I'd know you anywhere, Mr. and Mrs. Carlyle.
Not necessarily. They could be the cook help you're expecting.
We're going to have such a nice time, and I see you brought your little dog.
Couldn't take along a real bow wow.
My baby gets seasick.
I said to Laura, who would know it's Rick and Laura without their pooch Napoleon?
Almost anyone.
Please be seated.
Sherry and warm biscuits.
Welcome, Mr. Flimsy. We are delighted to have you on Turkey Island.
I could hardly resist a weekend at any establishment with the name of Ravenswood Manor. It conjures up pictures of the English moors. Dark, brooding, mysterious.
Talk the way you were. Spinal fluids turned to frost.
So scary to me, slobbering all over a dame's knuckles.
I detect the dubious charm of Chandler Marlowe.
We're here, Flimsy.
Are we all here?
I believe so.
No, Miss Maple. There's one more.
One more?
Charity Hayes.
Oh, how silly of me to forget. Come on in, Charity. Come on in. Don't keep us waiting.
Charity Hayes is some woman. Come on in, baby.
I don't think my sniffles is cleared up, Miss Maple. I think I'm coming.
Where's Charity Hayes?
Who?
The other lady on the boat?
What's in this room is it?
She wasn't with us on the boat. We assumed she arrived earlier.
I've never had an invitation of mine ignored.
Well, maybe she'll come on the other boat.
Not if the storm blows up. Go along, Haversham. Fetch the refreshments.
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder who does her dresses. I thought we could just snack until dinner. How does blue cheese fondue sound?
blue cheese fondue.
I'll see that everything is prepared upstairs.
Thank you, Rita.
Interesting woman, that Miss Islesborough. Has she been with you long?
Barely a month. Why do you ask?
When the moment is ripe, I shall harvest my deductions.
There's nothing to act so mysterious, Mr. Chan. Fan.
We're gonna sit around and chew the fat?
Either that or the blue cheese fondue.
Let's chew the fat.
Attention, dear guests. There are ground rules.
I'm concerned about the storm.
There's absolutely nothing to be worried about.
What's that?
Miss Maple, Miss Maple, Miss Maple!
What's wrong with her?
Miss Maple, Miss Maple, Miss Maple!
We got a problem where she advertising pancake syrup.
Haversham, get a hold of yourself! She's hysterical. I do not find anything amusing in her condition.
Haversham, why did you scream like that?
It's the only way I know how to scream.
I mean, what made you scream like that?
I saw a face at the window.
Face at the window?
His face.
Can you describe him?
Not really. He had his nose pressed up to the window pane.
That's what you get for reading books with gory covers. Probably the man from the boat.
No, I recognize him.
Perhaps it was a peeping Tom.
Oh, no. Ravenswood Manor would be unsuitable terrain. Only Haversham, Rita, and myself live here.
She's got a point.
Storms always frighten Haversham. Go along. Fetch the refreshments.
Yes, ma'am.
How long has Haversham worked with you?
Not long. Why do you ask?
I seem to recall the face.
It's not one you'd forget in a hurry, especially in that dress. Attention. There are ground rules, which I'd like to go over. If you don't know me personally, and none of you do know of my reputation as an outstanding hostess with a fine imagination for all that is bizarre and unique.
The same was said of Sherlock Holmes.
Then I am in first-rate company. You've all done well so far.
You mean you couldn't tell us from our literary counterparts?
No, and that's the way I'd like it to stay. So I insist that you keep this little game up at all times. Please don't use your real names or personalities. If the weekend turns out the way I trust it will benefit you all. Financially. I trust you're all willing to play along?
Might be fun.
Sister, I'm with you all the way.
Chandler, you're a rare customer.
I believe myself as well done. What's hurting?
You cannot be serious. Rick is always serious when he hears the word financially.
Money, like sweet-smelling flowers, attracts the bumblebees.
You calling us bumblebees?
If shoe fits.
Bumblebees don't wear shoes.
A figure of speech, Chandler. Dreadful syntax, but colorful. Typical of the amusing Louis Fan.
May I ask something?
My guess, sister.
Why are we all talking like this? Miss Maple's out of the room. How do you mean? We can relax, be ourselves, talk normally.
I am talking normally. This is the way I always talk.
Why?
I wear this collar, but my speech is my own.
A man who loses identity seldom finds himself.
Whatever that means.
Laura and me aren't any different here than we are at home in our fashionable East Side Manhattan apartment. Right, Napoleon?
No.
Now, Miss Maple is a most enterprising woman. And she's also, as the vulgarism goes, filthy rich. If she wants another scalp on her famous party list, I'll volunteer mine. I enjoy humoring her.
So generous.
Oh, you kidding, flimsy? Sure, the old Maple dame is famous for her weekend house parties. But the way I hear it, she's gonna open up a chain of bookstores.
Bookstores?
Detective bookstores.
Detective bookstores?
Of course. None of you knew about that, did you? Look, we're all here for the same reason, and it ain't to sample the blue cheese fondue.
Don't forget the fondue.
That's not gonna be easy.
In other words, you people here to win Miss Maple's favor.
Thus ensuring our detective novels a place on the shelf, as it were.
That's the name of the game.
Well, what of it? I don't imagine that Charity Hayes' books are going to be on Miss Maple's shelves. Business is business. And if Miss Maple wants to play games before placing an order with the publisher, I say, why not?
Bravo.
I imagine you all got about this. Most of your stuff is out of print.
Oh, if you weren't Amanda the Cloth, I'd have a few choice words for you.
Fans' novels aren't doing much better either. Even the Nostalgia Book Club turned it down.
Beware the dragon's wrath.
The only thing dragging about you is your book sale.
This historic weekend, there should be a light and happy occasion. How about some music?
Good idea. I'll get something. I hope the static won't be too heavy. The storm could cause interference.
We interrupt this program of light chamber music to bring you a special bulletin. A dangerous murderer has escaped from the Marin County Institute for the Criminally Insane. Known only as the killer of 40 faces, the prisoner seized a rowboat at dawn and was last seen heading in a fog bank on the approach to Turkey Island. Now back to our Sergeant Cherko.
Can it be true?
40 faces. Now there's a master of the sky.
Cherry and biscuits.
My congratulations, Miss Maple.
What are you talking about?
The classic touch. I've used it several times in my own novels.
Isolated house on a lonely island event. A television or radio flash. Mad killer on the prowl.
Oh, you're all too clever for me. But I did think it was amusing.
Couldn't have done better myself.
Oh, you're too kind, too kind. It's not easy to fool detective writers, you know.
Let's hear it again.
By all means, it was most amusing.
Here goes.
IQs?
Oh.
IQs?
Yeah, like you had it the last time.
It's all there is.
Step back from that console.
I don't understand.
Chandler Marlowe?
Eh?
Chandler Marlowe, I accuse you of foul crime. You cannot escape your past.
It's okay. Right, sister?
Louis Fan, remember that night in Shanghai? I accuse you of treachery.
Have never visited the illustrious city of Shanghai.
Rick and Laura Carlisle, what does the name Tula mean to you both? I accuse you of unforgivable deceit.
Tulip? Tulip?
I think I recognize that voice.
Father White, why are you really here at Ravenswood Manor?
I was invited.
I accuse you of sinister motives and shaming your calling.
Well, it would seem we've all been up to some mischief.
Peter Flimsy, what actually happened on the cricket field at Eton?
Eaton, I haven't been there in years.
I accuse you of dishonor.
Shall I set up the biscuit?
Hold your tongue. Are you trying to be funny?
Sorry, it's my nerve.
Charity Hayes, I accuse you of murder.
Murder? I don't know anything about murder. Why is everybody looking at me? I'm not Charity Hayes.
You've heard the accusation. You cannot escape. You will be punished.
Okay. Right, sister?
Miss Maple,
Yes.
what is the real secret at Ravenswood Manor?
Is that all?
That is all.
I can't get anything. It's all static.
You've really outdone yourself, Miss Maple.
Very original.
Effective, theatrical, and, of course, once again, classic. I myself used the technique in my best-selling novel, Crime and Coffin Corner.
I used it in Murder and the Masquerade.
Respectful submit my title. Serialized in several popular magazines, crime is a puzzlement.
Don't forget, I used some gimmick in Murder Mumps Up.
Laura and I use the accusing record player in our clever and sophisticated Manhattan murders.
I think I'd like to go to my room now.
Sounds sensible. Could do with a slap of aftershave.
Away, sister.
Were you talking to me? Of course. I'm sorry. I forgot a charade. Upstairs, down the hall, you'll find your name on the door.
Thank you.
It was so nice to meet you all.
Most delightful interlude, honorable hostess.
Thank you, Mr. Moto.
Fan.
His name is Mr. Fan, Miss Maple.
Oh,
May I present a question?
please do.
Man in portrait, honorable ancestor.
My father.
His name, please.
Mr. Maple?
Most compelling face your father has. Please be excused.
Yes.
What about these biscuits? On its sale.
Who put the last tape on the machine?
I thought you did.
Don't be foolish. My tape was the first tape.
They were scared, dear guests.
You noticed that too.
They tried to cover it up, but I know a room of scared pigeons when I see one.
I'm worried about the storm.
The lights may go.
Where's Rita? Why isn't Rita here when I need her?
I'm right here, Miss Maple.
Did you put the tape in the machine?
I thought you did.
No, my tape was the first tape. The one accusing my guests of dark crime. That one.
I don't know a thing about it, Miss Maple.
Haversham? Rita. Why do you so often carry that hat box? What's in the hat box?
Nothing?
Then why carry it?
I'd better check on the supplies the motorboat hasn't loaded at the dock.
Yes, you'd better. She's acting strangely.
Oh, dear customer, Miss Maple. I keep an eye on her.
Well, you're not me. Come along. I want to check on the fondue.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't say something about biscuits and sherry? Anyone about?
I didn't know you were downstairs, Mr. Carlyle. I thought you were with the others.
Came down a moment ago. You been outside?
I was going to the dock, but it started to rain heavily and the wind is up.
What's in that hat box?
Well, just what would you expect to find in a hat box? Sir?
Strange lady.
What do you suppose he was yelling about?
Sounds of pure and pain.
Maybe you got into fondue.
Here he is.
What is?
One glass with sherry gone. One biscuit missing.
What's of it?
We heard a scream.
All the way to the kitchen.
Perhaps you can enlighten us, Miss Maple.
What about?
Missing biscuit. Absent glass of sherry.
Who's he?
Louis Fan, a well-known Oriental detective.
Not him. Him.
Hippie!
Don't look, Miss Carlyle.
Whatever you think is best.
Is he dead?
Dead.
How dead?
I'll take him dead.
The voice on the radio, it said we'd be punished.
Now what? Figure yourself to the mantle.
It's broken.
I think I understand. Most classic. As each of us is punished, a figurine will fall from the mantle. 9 in this room. 9 figurines on the mantle.
3?
Explain, please.
There are 9 figurines on the mantle. There are only 3.
Only 3? Must readjust deduction.
Forget about that. We got a dead man here.
This isn't turning out as I planned. What does it all mean, Chandler?
It means murder, Miss Mabel.
Murder?
Murder on Turkey Island. Hey, Wednesday, BUTLER!
This is no time to be walking about outside, Chandler. You'll catch something.
The only thing I want to catch is the killer.
Now, you are quite sure the poor fellow is dead.
Killer?
Rick.
Me and Flimsy stretched him out on a table down in the wine cellar. He's still there. The dead don't walk.
I fear Miss Maple's little charade has taken a nasty turn.
Never saw a murder that wasn't nasty. Nasty murders are my business.
You're used to crime in the streets.
Streets are my beat. Fancy dumps like Ravenswood Manor, a bit rich for my blood.
Am I intruding?
No, my dear. Do join us.
Thank you.
Getting sleep, baby?
Dropped off the minute my head hit the pillow.
Grief does that.
Chandler, you're all wet.
The dock's almost gone. The storm's torn up the pilot. If the cook and helper get here, my name ain't Chandler Marlowe.
But your name isn't Chandler Marlowe. I mean, really.
You're a stickler for details, Padre.
I suppose you're wondering why I've taken Rick's demise so lightly.
You ain't exactly used up a box of Kleenex with the waterworks.
The truth of the matter is, Rick and I have been estranged for some time. Would you like to hear about it?
No, not really, my dear. Domestic matters are quite beyond my comprehension. Man of the cloth and all that.
Personal things should be kept personal. I ought to know. I've looked through enough keyholes.
If you insist. He was interested in another woman.
Oh,
Or perhaps, more correctly, another woman was interested in him.
Dames will get you every time.
do you know the creature?
Rick or the other woman?
The other woman.
In a way, I had a private investigator investigate her.
What sort of person was she?
Fascinating, I suppose, but unscrupulous. Her name was Mabel Dupree.
What is it now?
What are you talking about?
You said her name was Mabel Dupree. What is it now?
That's a stupid question, Chandler.
That's your stupid answer.
A leopard doesn't change its spots. I imagine her name is still Mabel Dupree.
What did the investigator come up with?
Almost nothing. Moves around, never stays in one place long. He did find out one thing of interest, though.
Oh?
She had a violent temper.
Sounds like my kind of woman.
I can't well understand the attraction. Mabel Dupree, the flame, Rick Carlisle, the moth.
Only he got burned. Bad.
Classic tragedy.
I love that man of mine. He'd be by my side today if it weren't for that vampire.
Speaking of vampires, Miss Maple's library has a fine collection of Victorian novels. Some are quite ghoulish.
Not my type of stuff. I cover the pavement.
Do you think she might be mixed up in your husband's death?
Miss Maple?
Miss Dupree.
A woman like that is capable of anything.
Positive you never crossed paths?
Never set eyes on her. However, I did hear her voice.
When?
Well,
In my contemporary Manhattan apartment, weeks ago, before the invitation arrived. The phone rang. I answered. The operator said, person, call from Mabel Dupree for Carlisle. Then I heard her voice.
What did she say?
She said, hello.
and what did you say?
I said, if you know what's good for you, you'll never try to contact my husband again. Or else.
Or else what?
I'd rather not say. This is all so distressing. Fun and games are one thing, but murder's quite another.
Amen, sister. Murder ain't no parlor game.
Chandler, you're all wet.
I've been outside.
Obviously. What am I going to do?
No telephone anywhere in the house.
No wireless either.
It's a cinch. No boat's gonna get here till morning.
And what about poor Rick?
He ain't going nowhere. Where have you been? I thought you were gonna give me a hand outside. For all we know, the killer's still out there, crawling around just waiting for another target.
You mean he may strike again?
He or she. The female's the deadly species.
Chandler, you're all...
Don't say it, or I'll give you a knuckle sandwich.
Your sort would resort to brute force.
It's been the secret of my success.
If brute force were all, tiger would not fear scorpion.
There we go talking about bugs again.
Mr. Moto, have you discovered anything that might shed light on this terrible affair at Ravenswood Manor?
Bam.
What?
His name is Fan, who calls him Modo.
Oh.
Please do enter.
So you have discovered something.
Please be seated, Miss Maple. We'll present the named murderer of the semi-famous Rick Carlisle.
How?
Patience, all will be revealed.
I have a strong feeling, Mr. Wong, that the murderer's name will begin with the letter M.
Fan.
What? His name is Fan. You call him Wong. I didn't say he was wrong. I said I thought the murderer's name will begin with the letter M.
Not wrong, Wong.
Well, this is getting us nowhere. I do think the suspense will last.
The guy we need here is Sparrow Link.
Who?
Crack investigator on the Frisco Force.
I am not unfamiliar with his name, but since he does not write detective fiction, well, he wasn't on my list of invitees.
What's all this business with the letter M?
The deceased was mixed up with another doll.
Mabel Dupree.
Please, know nothing of letter M.
Comes right after L. Sorry.
Anyways, why should this Dupree woman want to poison Mr. Carlisle?
I know her sort. Unpredictable, quick-tempered, dangerous. A woman like that was stopped at nothing.
What's her motive?
Obvious. Rick preferred me and told her so. Mabel Dupree vowed vengeance.
Proof?
No proof. Women's intuition.
Intuition ain't no substitution for logic.
Must get Choo-Choo back on track. The clue's in the recording. Killer knew each of us intimately.
If you mean the accusations, I have no idea what the fellow's talking about. I'm simply here because I was invited.
Killer hates detective mystery writers. So now name murderer. You are murderer.
Miss Maple's father?
Correction, please. That is portrait of famed historian Ludwig Flush.
But why would Ludwig Flush want to do us harm?
Early in his career, Ludwig Flush published detective mystery novels under pen name of Antonia Cheddar. Failed miserably, turned psychotic, and devoted life to subject of ancient history.
You mean his sense of frustration was so fierce he'd punished successful detective writers?
I've heard of weirder customers.
Where is he now?
In-house.
What? Here?
I know. He must have been the face at the window.
Could be.
Not possible.
Why not?
Due to advancing age, Ludwig Flush confined to wheelchair.
A nice theory, but it won't hold water.
Like that coat. It's damper than a lunch counter rag.
Have proof.
What kind of proof, I wonder? Mr. Wong gets carried away. He does that in his writings, too. Never could make any sense out of his nonsense. One would find more clarity in a fortune cookie.
Behold, incriminating evidence.
But what does a wheelchair prove?
Miss Maple, why would you lie? Why would you say man in portrait dishonorable ancestor?
I had no idea it would come to this.
You mean Ludwig Flush is your father?
I do not know any deranged person by the name of Ludwig Flush.
But wheelchair.
If you must know, there's a hole in the wall. The portrait fit perfectly, so I use it as a covering.
Where did you get the portrait?
Where I get all my interesting pieces. A garage sale.
Garage sale?
Your entire line of reasoning is absurd.
But wheelchair.
Here, maybe this will help. What's written here?
What's it say, kid?
Property of United States Coast Guard.
Coast Guard?
If found, please contact nearest Federal Lighthouse Station.
Well, if it didn't belong to Ludwig Flush, how did it get here? All sorts of flotsam and jetsam wash up on the beaches. Usually we keep it in the cellar, but obviously Mr. Fan thought it'd be wise to bring it up to aid his ridiculous theory.
Must readjust deduction.
Habersham.
Most unique case.
Habersham, get that out of here.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm afraid one of the upstairs windows will blow open. Damage could be done to the expensive Oriental.
Expensive? You can pick up a Louis Fan paperback for 2 bits.
I meant the Oriental carpet. It's rare.
So are you, baby.
Go along, and take your hat box with you. You're always leaving it about.
Yes, Miss Maple.
I trust we realized we could have all been wiped out.
You mean if we ate the biscuits? The poison was in the biscuits?
I'll give you 3 to 1 on the sherry. That stuff will kill you even when it ain't being poisoned.
Do we fully grasp the seriousness of the situation?
Cut off in the mainland? The storm?
No communication?
Face at the window walking around.
I think it would be a good idea if we didn't eat or drink anything until morning.
Till morning?
Until the storm ebbs and we can signal a passing boat.
It's still alive.
Well, the poison wasn't in the sherry or the pastries.
But we all saw the half-empty glass and half-bitten biscuit.
Stand up if you would, Miss Carlyle.
Oh, amazing. A touch of the master himself, Sherlock Holmes.
Actually, magnifying glasses have become quite sophisticated since the days of London fog and hansom cabs. This one, for example, magnifies 20 times and can also identify odors. One should never be taken in by appearances. It's a capital mistake to theorize before one has all the evidence.
So?
If you'll all look here, you'll see what I mean. There's the spot. See it?
Why, it looks like a needle.
Correct.
Give me a look.
Rick Carlisle was murdered by a poisoned dart.
Dart?
I discovered the dart about an hour ago. Since it entered the body at almost a straight angle, I surmised it came from the portrait. Or, as Miss Maples explained, the hole in the wall.
He's right. There's one eyeball missing.
It would seem we're up against a very clever killer.
Either clever or mad. How do we know some deranged killer didn't get wind of this weekend party and decide to have a murderous lark? Oh, my dear, you're letting your imagination run away with you. Am I? Do you realize I was sitting in that chair? Good heavens, you could have been scratched.
You mind explaining yourself out of that one, Flimsy?
I removed the vicious little dart, analyzed the poison, and returned it for the sake of recreating the murder method. Without the poison, it's harmless.
I'll give you credit, Flimsy. You're no man's fool.
I appreciate that, Chandler.
I still think we ought to case the island.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
I'm terrified. What
protection.
Oh, I really appreciate that, Dan.
The name is Fan.
I think that it would be a wise idea if we stuck together.
You mean safety in numbers?
Precisely.
I don't see how that will protect us from flying darts coated in poison.
Still, we must admit the killer is a villain of imagination. No pistol shots for this chap.
Then you're convinced the killer's a male.
A rogue male, perhaps. Time will tell.
Well, if your theory is correct, then you could be the killer.
Laura, my dear, you're distraught.
Or Chandler Marlowe, or Peter Flimsy,
My
or
dear,
Louie.
calm yourselves.
Stay away from me. There must be a butler lever here somewhere.
I didn't know. I thought I heard you talking to someone, Miss Carlyle.
I do that when I'm nervous.
Would you like a sedative? You must be exhausted.
Sleep is the last thing I want. At least when I'm awake, I know I'm alive.
Poor Miss Maple. She was so counting on a fun weekend.
It's a raging success if you have a macabre sense of humor.
I want to confide in someone.
What about?
Havisham. She's on parole in prison because of some unpleasantness with a hatchet.
Haversham? Hatchet? Of course, I recall the case.
Be on guard.
I appreciate you telling me this. Rita, why do you have this?
Oh, yes.
What's it?
Nothing.
What's that?
Where's the helicopter?
There's a helicopter overhead!
Oh, yeah, look at this.
A police helicopter! We're safe! Safe! It's over the house. You can see the lights through the rain and fog. Are they putting a ladder down?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there it is. It's swinging through the glow.
Ladder? You mean they're dropping someone down in this weather?
That would be insane.
Who would be foolhardy enough to descend to house of murder?
Charity Hayes. That's who.
Charity, baby, you remember me, Chandler Marlowe. We met down in Mardi Gras in New Orleans. I'd know you anyway.
Charity Hayes isn't your ordinary face in the crowd.
I don't understand. A helicopter?
I missed the boat. This might be ingracious of me, but I could really use a hot bath.
I'll prepare one.
I'm your hostess, my dear Miss Maple. And this is Louis Fan and Peter Flimsy. And can we hold the introduction till after I've had my bath? As you wish. Come along. I'll show you to your room. We are very lucky to Turkey Island. You'll live up to your reputation. Don't suppose I could get a glass of sherry and a biscuit.
Charity Hayes is some woman. A real package of dynamite.
A remarkable young woman.
Exceptional. What's the matter with you, Laura?
That voice! That voice, I know it anywhere. It's Mabel! Mabel Dupree! You say you knew Charity from the past?
Met her down in Louisiana.
Louisiana. How romantic.
It was kind of muggy. Got mildew on my gumshoes.
I must say, I'm terribly disappointed in Louis. All this business with Ludwig Flush in the wheelchair. Lucky for him, the hero of his books isn't so dense.
Never read much of him. Too soft for me. I like my crime hard-boiled.
Murder's not an egg, Chandler.
Bad eggs stink. So does murder. There's been a murder in this house, and it stinks.
I had Rita for an embroidered sheet over poor Mr. Carlyle. I thought it was the least I could do.
You're a gracious doll.
I can be gracious and I can be resolute. I feel like a human being thanks to that hot bath.
Look like a human being, baby. My kind of human being.
Chandler tells me you two met down Louisiana.
Yes, at Mardi Gras.
How romantic.
Actually, I didn't think so. The weather was muggy and I got mildew on my high heels.
Gotta admire any girl who can arrive at a weekend house party in the height of a storm in a helicopter.
Chandler, don't call me a girl. I'm all woman.
You say that again.
You heard me the first time.
I was annoyed I didn't arrive on time, but then I was relieved.
Relieved?
I mean, now we're all apparent targets for some deranged killer.
You mean Rick Carlisle?
No, he's not the killer. He's the victim.
Well, what's anybody doing about it?
We're doing what we can. Not eating anything. Not drinking anything.
Mr. Fan makes some preposterous deductions that did nothing but cloud the issue. The man is a buffoon.
Well, everybody seems to be taking the murder calmly.
Chandler, I do wish you were more careful with your coat. It's soaking. I don't want to get it on carpet.
I'm sorry, Miss Mabel. I'll be more careful in the future.
Oh, you're so charming. Oh.
I know. I get that all the time.
Oh. Anyways, have you visited the body down in the wine cellar?
No, terrified.
I know. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. I mean, I'm not used to having bodies in my wine cellar.
I'm not taking the murder calmly. I've been down in the wine cellar.
What of it?
There's a body down there.
Naturally, there's a body down there.
Or unnaturally.
Rick Carlisle.
He's dead.
Not gonna get any deader.
No, you don't understand. He's really dead.
You mean something to me to where's down in that cellar?
Oh, I thought it was all part of the game, just part of the charade. I expect him to show up later and tell us that it was all a joke.
Murder's never a joke.
Didn't you hear what Flimsy said? Poison dart.
Sit down, Father White. You're weak in the kneecaps.
I'm distraught. Fun and games are one thing.
Yeah, we know. Murder something else.
I like realism as well as fantasy in my charades. But I trust you all believe I wouldn't go so far as murder.
Oh, I don't know what to believe anymore.
Oh.
Can't see a thing. It looks like black ink.
Oh, murder.
What's the matter with him?
It's just got to him that the corpse in the wine cellar is a corpse.
You mind explaining that?
Murder. Real murder.
It's the worst kind. Incurable.
It would look as if you're all gathering for a council of war.
I've asked the others to join me. I do wish they'd get here.
When honorable hostess requests, honorable guest complies.
Do shut up!
I'll tell you something else. No, wait. I don't believe our honorable people talk the way you do.
Oh, where's Laura? Why isn't Laura here?
She did have a bit of a shock.
Shock?
Someone murdered her husband?
She took that standing up. And I don't mean her.
He means you, Tate. Me? What have I got to do with Laura Carlisle? I don't know the lady. Read some of her books. Not my brand at all.
You're more like me, baby. Ear to the city's asphalt.
Chandler, leave my ear out of it.
Oh, there you are, my dear. Please come and join us.
Oh, sit over here.
As you wish.
So you got something on your mind, Miss Mabel?
As I told you, Chandler, I can be gracious and I can be resolute.
I think we should hear the resolute.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I must apologize for the strange turn of events at Ravenswood Manor.
It's not your fault.
The point I wish to emphasize exactly. I don't want anyone to believe I'd stoop so low as to engineer this misfortune.
Why'd we even think such a thing?
You mean we might suspect you're out to publicize your new chain of bookstores?
What bookstores?
It's no secret, is it? Isn't that why we're all here? To make sure our books are on the shelves?
I am here as tranquil we can guess, nothing more.
Nonsense.
You go right to the heart of the matter, Charity.
I don't see any reason to pussyfoot.
So you all knew what I was planning?
What if we did know? No harm is done, is there?
Why not ask Rick?
Rick who?
The dead man in the cellar.
As Mr. Fan would say, must get Choo-Choo back on track. My reputation as a hostess has been impeccable.
Until now.
Alas, we have no choice but to remain on island, correct?
Correct. We're stuck here till daylight.
I will not have my party ruined by an unknown killer whose motive or motives are yet to be revealed.
Huh?
I will not bow down to any sinister force. The charade will continue.
Something wrong, Miss Mabel.
Forgive me, I didn't mean to get so carried away.
Why continue?
I want the killer found so he can be punished. Murder is one thing, but the ruination of a weekend party at Ravenswood Manor is quite another.
That's all well and good, Miss Maple, but we're detective writers, not police.
The police would only bungle the case. Besides, Mr. Flimsy has already shown remarkable talent in deduction.
I've been prowling around on the scent too,
You seem to have a great deal of faith in us, Miss Maple.
Who? I've already explained my theory. Detective writers often create sleuths like themselves.
Only more so.
Exactly. I've invited you here because you're the best in your field. Prove it. Find the gatecrasher. Let his apprehension be a warning to all other social bores.
I wouldn't call a murder a social bore.
Who else but a bore would do such a thing?
If all else fails, at least we can get a pretty good yarn out of this.
Yarn?
It's a book. I got a title already. Murder Walks the Fog.
Island of Evil.
Mystery in San Francisco Bay.
Corpse in the wine cellar. Mad weekend.
The sooner the beast is caught, the sooner we can hand him over to police. Minimum publicity.
Publicity like door works both ways.
Then we're agreed. We will not bow down. The charade will continue.
As you wish.
However, to ensure you that I'm not frivolous in my desires to want to catch this monster, I will award an honorarium to the one that smokes him out.
How much?
$25,000.
25,000?
You have until sunrise.
I think she means it.
She means it.
She won't stand for anyone disrupting her weekend house party.
If I find out who did it, I won't be adverse to publicity. No, your kind never is. My kind? Why are we standing here? There's the killer. She's the one. Mabel Dupree. Mabel who?
Easy, baby. That's nothing to agree, dame. It's Charity A's. Take my word for it.
Don't let that phony with fool you. It's Mabel, I tell you.
Mabel? Mabel?
Laura, you're making a mistake.
Take off that thing! Ow! 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 That's crazy! Ow! Ow! Ow!
Poor Jenny, control yourself.
You had the hammer! Ah! It's my own hair, you idiot!
Thanks, Charity. I needed that.
What was that all about?
You'll have to forgive her. She's not herself.
She mistook you for arch rival, infamous Mabel Dupree.
You still pack a mean wallop, sugar.
I can take care of myself, Chandler.
I think we're missing something. I think the clue is in the recording.
If it is, there's a woman behind it. I feel it.
There you go, that woman's intuition again.
In other words, Laura, you mean Cherchez la femme.
What woman?
It was that famous detective, Monsieur Jekyll, and the Dumas, the Mohicans of Paris, who first used the phrase. With his green spectacles and constantly dipping into his snuff box.
What?
Forever saying Cherchez la femme.
Then you agree with me.
Surely you all know that Monsieur Jekyll was the literary ancestor of all the great poets from Victor Hugo Javert.
Victor who?
To Doyle's Holmes and years before Hawkshaw.
Hold up for a second. What's a ferret?
I don't know any Hawkshaw. What are you talking about?
Your education in the history of detectives is sadly lacking.
Interesting you use the word history. Suggests man in portrait, Ludwig Flash.
I understand the recording accused me of murder.
Yep.
Easily explained. How? Well, since I've never actually murdered anyone real that is, the recording had to mean a popular character in one of my books.
I remember now. You were the character by the name of Jumbo. Great gumshoe.
I got bored with him and knocked him off. In print, there was a public outcry. Critics said I murdered Jumbo.
Much the same manner, Doyle caused a sensation when he killed off Sherlock Holmes.
It's interesting, but it's not getting us anywhere.
I'm not sure I can agree. Most interesting explanation. Suggest we consider other possibilities.
It's
we won't be doing much sleeping.
It's quite chilly on the island.
First time I've seen her without that hat box.
Interesting, just hat box. Recalls case of headless horseman.
Are you talking about the horseman murder at the Kentucky Derby?
I am.
Why did they call him the Headless Horseman? You mean?
Miss Islesborough looks amazingly like missing girlfriend, a female addicted to hats. Noticed similarity as soon as I entered Ravenswood Manor.
I'm not worried about the missing girlfriend. I'm worried about the missing...
Don't say it, my dear. It's too dreadful to contemplate.
She could be the lunatic killer.
Believe Miss Islesborough was also sweetheart of Rick Carlisle, and when he wished to end friendship, was struck
Forget
down.
about this. Your theories are ridiculous. What we have to do is lay out a plan of action.
What do you suggest?
Charity and me will tackle the wine cellar. Louis, you and Father White go over upstairs with a fine-tooth comb.
Do not possess such an article. A small joke.
The big one getting funnier.
What about me? I'll take along with me and we'll search around outside. Is that wise? Well, we'd better stick in pairs. I mean going outside in the storm.
Just keep thinking about that 25 grand.
Let's go outside.
Come on, Louis.
You lead, I follow.
I'm sorry about the wig. So's my scalp.
What do you know, Charity? Here we are together again, just like old times.
Chandler, keep your mind on your work. Ravenswood Manor is not Mardi Gras.
Come on, just a big ugly kiss for old time's sake. Come on, sugar, a big ugly kiss for old time's sake. I'm waiting. Come on, I'm all fucked up. Well, that's a kiss.
I ain't no lover girl.
You! Where's Charity?
Down the hall, if she's going to the wine cellar, she won't get in.
Right now.
I locked it.
Well, you can unlock it.
She's by the door.
Haversham! Haversham! Is anyone about? What was that? I'll read. That'll quiet my nerves. The case of the curious caretaker. I shall never forget the night I arrived at Skull Island. No one was there to greet me, with the exception of Miss Midwinter, the housekeeper, a woman of stern countenance and iron will. And I was terrified. Perhaps if the boatman had not been blind and mute, some of my fears might have been lessened. But alas, that was not to be. Why was the bell on the abandoned tower ringing, I wondered? Did it foretell some dreadful happening? It wasn't the warmest of welcomes for a governess of 16. What would I encounter here in this strange house of ancient rock and dark emotions? Who's there? Who's there, I say? No, wait!
Chandler. I'm listening. Profit, revenge, and what's the third reason? I forget, but it will come to me.
We've searched everywhere.
deceased.
An embroidered bedsheet does sound a bit extravagant. After all, a plain bedsheet would have done just as well.
Perhaps we should consider motive behind placing an embroidered bedsheet over cooling body of Rick Carlisle. Possibly will lead to killer's identity.
You guys belong in a museum. The old doll had Rita toss the linen over the victim. Barking sugar.
One less clue to consider.
Lloyd, I don't think you could find yourself in the dark.
It ain't rained so much as before.
Better watch that Havisham sneaks up when you ain't looking and steals a kiss.
I don't steal. I mean, I don't steal no more. I'm performing.
What are you talking about?
Hello? What's the matter with her?
Who?
Miss Maple.
Bless me, I didn't see her sitting there.
She's awfully still. Please don't wake her. She's exhausted.
Is it any wonder?
Where's Flimsy?
Washing his hands.
Out, them spot, out, I say. Shakespeare, Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 1. Lady Macbeth attempts to wash away the blood of guilt.
Why would man wash hands when he has just entered house from storm?
Maybe they were dirty. She don't look right to me.
Who?
What do you think, Miss Maple?
Napping, I tell you.
Should we wake her?
No, let her be. Old people need their sleep. They get cranky.
Any luck?
Nope.
Well, we've discovered precisely nothing.
It's another one. Another what? Another figurine fell from the mantle.
Most curious.
Last one.
What? Anybody got any ideas?
About what?
About anything.
Why don't we get up a rubber bridge? Yes! Outrageous! Didn't any one of you realize I was murdered? You're alive. Thought you were asleep. Shots rang out. I was slumped over. A figurine fell from the mantle. What's going on here? I'll tell you what's going on. You're a bunch of incompetents. I arranged for Havisham to fire some blanks to test your reactions. And alas, you've all failed miserably. You disappoint me profoundly. You were carrying on the charade, right? That charity is self-evident. Since everything else has proven slightly absurd, I'm beginning to doubt that the man in the wine cellar is truly deceased. He's deceased.
Take our word for it.
I can't trust any of you anymore. I will have to look for myself. Havisham, get the key.
Yes, ma'am.
Idiots! She's annoyed.
Say that again.
I hope this doesn't mean she'll give up the idea of her bookstores. We better think of something to calm her down.
Fast.
You must be famished. There's some food that's sealed in its container. We might eat that. No one could tamper with it.
I am hungry.
I'll see to it at once.
One moment.
What is it, Mr. Tan?
The name is Van. This is a van. It was one on a hot day. Van, understand?
I'm not a child. You had something to say to me.
Must be obvious to all that killer is one of us.
What?
What? We'll explain. Do. Why would sweetheart, a carvist jockey, take job at Ravenswood Manor?
Are you talking about the horseman murder again?
I am.
He wasn't heartless. He was headless.
Believe Miss Islesborough was also sweetheart of Rick Carlisle, and when he wished to end friendship was struck down as was unfortunate jockey.
You mean?
There is murderer.
You mean?
Fascinating and unscrupulous.
You mean?
Mabel Dupree.
That's ridiculous.
I don't want another mistake.
Here's newspaper clipping of jockey and his mad sweetheart. Note positive resemblance. Case is solved.
Louis?
Yes.
The female in this picture is a black woman. Miss Islesborough is not a black woman.
What a creepo! No wonder your books are going out of print.
You are not mad, sweetheart.
I may not be a sweetheart, but I certainly am mad. Furious, you fool!
The sidewalks belong to jockey's killer.
Why are we all here talking about the Kentucky Derby when Miss Maple is angry with a lot of us? Miss Rita, what did you call him?
I called Mr. Fan a fool.
Forgive the fool. Fetch Miss Maple from the wine cellar.
You're a menace. You ought to be locked up.
I gotta hand it to you, Lloyd. You're one in a million.
You do get carried away. 2 wrong deductions in one evening is quite enough.
When all the hens cluck, who can hear the rooster?
I do agree with Louis on one point, though.
What's that, Chandler?
The killer has to be one of us.
Why was Rick the only one to get it?
And what?
The dot in that kit. Oh, I'm sorry, Lord. That was tactless. No fear, though. I put a piece of metal plate behind the portrait. The passageway the deadly dot took has been sealed.
I wish you'd stop talking like one of the characters in your lousy books.
Only Dawn would get here.
Give it time.
He's dead. Quite dead. There can be no mistake about it.
I think I might be able to shed some light on this grisly affair. Haversham.
Rita, what I told you was in confidence.
I don't think we have any right to keep it a secret any longer.
You mean about Haversham's police record?
How did you know?
I told Miss Carlyle.
Haversham isn't homicidal.
Well, what about the unpleasantness with a hatchet?
Haversham? Hatchet? I recall the case. Didn't she try to break into some safety deposit boxes by chopping through the bank's outside wall?
She made some attempt.
But I didn't get away with it, and I'm dead by time. I'd appreciate it too if you talked about me while I was in the room. Only polite.
Murder and politeness seldom go together.
Will this cursed storm ever end?
I can see where this is going to take a strong logical hand. I think I could shed some light too.
Please do.
You're all agreed that the killer used the recording to lay out his plan.
Carlyle's demise was proof.
Proof of nothing, except that he was marked for death. Remember what I was accused of?
Murder.
Murder only in the figurative sense. What about it, Louis? What about the night in Shanghai?
Please, do nothing.
Remember the stakes, survival?
I'm thinking of something very sinister.
What?
There's one figurine left on the mantle.
If the killer's going to strike again, he'll have to do it before daylight.
I hope no one will say, no one leave the room. Louise.
Night in Shanghai does not refer to holiday in Orient. Rival writer was to use it for title of his new book. I used it first. He never forgave me.
Well, my murder wasn't real. Night in Shanghai was a book title, nothing more. What about you, Mrs. Carlyle? What's your dark secret? What does tulip signify?
Tulip was a dog, the sweetest little puppy you ever saw. I did want to buy him, but the pet shop owner refused. He was adamant. He was going to sell him to a harsh and disagreeable army major. I couldn't bear it, so Rick and I...
Dog nappers.
We changed Tulip's name to Napoleon so no one would know. We were always afraid. How would it look on the society page?
What about you, Chandler? What's your dark secret?
The recording said that you were guilty of foul crime, that you couldn't escape your past.
Chandler, get back here!
Do I really have to?
Chandler?
Well, you see, a long time ago, before I became a detective writer, I kinda had another job.
Yes?
I was a
You what?
literary critic.
There's no sense in asking what happened at the cricket fields in Eden. I haven't the slightest idea.
Don't you see? The recording's a joke. The crimes aren't crimes at all. Indiscretions, perhaps. Nothing more.
As I was playing jokes here and there, someone else was doing the same with the recording.
That's my guess.
I can buy it.
But who did it?
We don't know if the tape recording and the murder are one and the same. All we have to figure out is who had the motive and who had the opportunity to knock off Carlyle. The killer had to know the house.
Could it have been the man in the dark glasses and scarf?
Who?
Before I was shot, didn't I tell you?
No.
Oh, it must have slipped my mind. There was a man. He came out and he had what?
Now, let me go on with my deducing.
Please do, Chandler.
As
I think.
I was saying, we have to figure out motive and opportunity.
Chandler, for goodness sakes.
Sorry.
What was that?
It's the telephone.
There's no telephone on Turkey Island.
It's coming from over there.
The desk.
Answer it.
Yes.
Try the drawer.
Look, answer it. Hurry, answer.
Answer it.
Ravenswood Manor.
Who is color?
What they say?
main phone call at this hour?
Motive? Offered to you. That man and woods. In the detective game, you're either a firecracker or a fizzle. Now, this is Chandler Marlowe speaking, you pinhead. I have ways of tracing phone calls. When I find out who this is, I'm gonna rearrange your face. That's right, you're gonna be breathing through your navel. Just remember my name, Buster. Chandler Marlowe.
Mr. Marlowe, would you mind explaining yourself? Give that to me.
All part of the gag. See, you wanted us to keep it going, didn't you?
But the telephone rang.
I've got a relay buzzer in my pocket.
Shall I answer it?
Shut up, you silly girl!
Better tell it all, Chandler.
What have you got to do with it, Rita?
I'm Chandler's secretary.
Huh?
When Miss Maple advertised for a social secretary for 1 month, Chandler had me apply.
I already had my invitation. I thought, hey, this would be a great chance for some laughs.
Murder's no laughing matter.
I kept needling Louis about the Headless Horseman murder until I had him thinking it was Rita who did the jockey in.
Interesting theory, but Louis Fan is not buying. Hat box undoubtedly contains blowgun that silenced Carlisle. Oh, murder weapons!
What's in there?
A head!
A head?
Head of cabbage.
Are you joking? I called you a fool before, and that's what you are. All part of the gag.
Head of cabbage is food for thought.
Everything seems to be falling into place. You forgot one thing, Miss Hayes. Father White. He didn't confess to any indiscretion. Not only that, he knows this house inside and out.
Why do you say that?
Because I saw you coming from that walk. There's a secret passageway back there.
Secret passageway. Now we're getting somewhere.
Chandler is quite right. In detection, we must always expect the unexpected. With the naked eye, we cannot see the invisible snakes in every glass of water.
Invisible snakes?
Invisible crocodiles in every spoonful of soup.
Soup?
Or the invisible dolphins, that roam and play in every drop of milk.
What are you getting at?
That's the type of stuff he puts in his books. No one can understand it.
I merely wish to point out that when we investigate, we must employ a microscope of the mind.
What does it have to do with anything?
I suppose there's no point in furthering the deception. Truth of the matter is, you're not Father White.
Impossible!
Who are you?
I'm Roman Minstrel, an actor, you'd say.
What? I never invite actors.
They're doing a radio program on the real Father White, and I persuaded the real invitee to let me take his place. To get into the mind of Father White. To act and react as he would.
That's quite enough of that, dribble invisible crocodiles indeed.
But the secret passageway.
It's not a secret passageway. The original owner had a flair for eccentric architecture design. It leads up to the wine cellar.
It does? That's where the other door leads.
You didn't know?
Ravenswood Manor isn't my home. I merely rented it for a few weeks for the purpose of this weekend house party. Listen! A helicopter! It's overhead! Is it the police?
We must get attention! Hello?
Hey, the north side of the island.
We can signal with a flare!
To the kitchen, out that way.
Last chance!
Wait, look!
Look! It's the man I was telling you about! The man in dark glasses and scarf! What? It's him! It's still impossible! You were dead!
I never saw anyone deader.
I, too, thought of a little joke that would be amusing. Instead of one Rick Carlisle, there'd be two.
What?
Rick's twin brother. He was the one down in the wine cellar.
I was going to confuse everyone. Be in two places at once. Only someone got to me first and finished me off.
Wait, you mean your brother, right?
Yes, only the killer didn't know he'd made a mistake. I decided to stay out of sight and learn what I could.
What did you learn?
Nothing.
I'll take it from here!
You are murderer!
How can anyone be so consistently wrong? The investigation.
What?
I saw Rick and his brother talking in town. Rick's twin was a con artist. If he was coming here, he'd had plans to rob.
What?
My brother was no good, that is true. He did seem to agree rather quickly. I should have suspected.
The pickings would be good. Some wallets, jewels, who knows what else.
Well, if you're not Peter Flimsy, then who are you?
And the one, the only, Pharaoh Lee.
Hi!
Crack investigator on the Frisco Force.
That's San Francisco, and can't you get your foot out of that wastebasket, Chet?
Everything has been explained satisfactorily in a delightful and charming exercise of now you see it, now you don't.
Not quite.
What?
Who killed the man in the wine cellar?
Let me answer that.
Who are you, Miss?
Mabel! Mabel, open!
I mean business. I've killed one man already, and I won't make that mistake a second time. No one leave this room.
Where's the real Havisham?
Probably in Canada by now. I gave her $200 to take her place.
I won't be able to give parole people a very good report.
I wouldn't shoot.
He made a fool of me. No one walks out on Mabel's decree. Ready? What does another one matter?
Rick, she's going to shoot! No!
What a woman!
You're a wizard!
Ow, that's that.
There's a police helicopter flying overhead to see if I need any assistance. It's going to have an unexpected passenger. I'm taking you in.
Look, it's gone.
The storm is past. The boat from the mainland will be here soon.
Hey, come on, Mabel. You've got a date with the jury.
I won't have nothing to worry about. Not if there are 12 men on that jury.
I don't want to stay in this place another moment.
Let's get our luggage and get out of here.
Goodbye.
I didn't bring any luggage. Maybe I can catch a ride with Pharaoh Link. Now he's my kind of man.
Bye.
What about me, Charlie? I thought we had something going here.
Forget it, Chandler.
I should know better than to trust a dame.
Rita, look, see if you get anything on the radio besides static.
Yes, Miss Maple.
I do hope someone comes for the gentleman in the wine cellar.
I'm sure they will.
What a night! What a night!
We interrupt this program of light chamber music to bring you a special bulletin. A dangerous murderer has escaped from the Ring County Institute for the Criminally Insane, known only as the killer of
Turn it
40
off,
faces.
Rita! Turn it off! We don't want to go through that again. Tonight is closing night, and everybody here, doubles, backstage, everybody, would like to really have a big round of applause and really say thank you to our two directors, Dave Martin and Jane Kleiner. Sarah
up here on stage and say thanks to all of them.
Since this is our last night, we're asking everybody to be patient because we have so many thank yous. It's been a great production, and one thank you that I have until Jane comes up is I have a thank you to the cast. Jane and I really believe in process, and this is quite a process. We take kids who have never acted, who've never been on stage, and I just want to thank the cast for their courage. They're middle school kids, and it's really hard to get up and embarrass yourself sometimes and act silly. And these guys have all been very, very courageous, and I want to give them a hand. Thank you for trying.
We never know what's going to happen until opening night, and that is really the truth. I mean, they don't know their lines the night before Anyway, we're really, really proud of them. And this could not happen without, I couldn't do it without Kaye, number one. And then we could not pull it off without our parents. So we really want to honor people, and we're probably going to leave somebody out, so I apologize ahead of time. So, first of all, could Mary Janney please come up? Also, I'd like to mention Jean Foyston, who her expertise is just in I'd like to mention Dawn and Rick LaRue.
Don't seem to be here right now.
And all teachers do. And all the extras that Jane Clymer does. She has such a special relationship with the kids. Get back there, Jane. She has such a special way with the kids, and she's had such a challenging year, and she has just been so great to take this on again. So.
Do you know that girl? Like, she's really good. I guess my sister. Yeah, well, you came out and you like busted out. Yeah. It was awesome. Wow. Yeah.
I know, that was great with the hair and everything.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Tilted.
Not too much.
Eli, stop. Move, Eli.
Eli's never
Forward.
And we know how hard you have worked, and we just can't thank you enough for all your hard work, Jane, and Kaye. But we thought the best way to show appreciation was to give you a well-deserved massage, and since you have so earned it.
Whoa!
And again, we just can't thank you enough for your dedication. And
I know, I can imagine, I watched that, I was like, I wonder if they told them to that. Then I can imagine Jane being like, show that you're alive.
Yeah.
Like, walk back and forth or do something. I don't care. Just don't, like, stare down.
You know, we tried to get the areas of interest, like go have a drink.
Yeah, right.
You know, go like to the desk.
Yeah. Go clean
No, I
something.
could see they were just like nervous.
Yeah.
And they had to move.
Yeah. But it works.
It's
It was
kind of
fun.
like the hot seat. If you're on that couch more than 5 seconds, you're dead.
You're off. And when you say your line, say it at the front of the stage.
Oh, you noticed that?
Yeah, you gotta be like, hi. But it was good. They all checked with the audience.
Going back.
And at least get in the spotlight.
I know.
There's someone way over in the shadow.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the spotlight.
Yeah.
Over there.
Absolutely.
That's quintessential.
Yeah.